If you use containers to move anything, anywhere, there is a new development you will want to know about. In Britain and Northern Europe, a quiet revolution is going on. It doesn't matter what you move. You may ship goods round the world, as they do here, or use containers for a completely different purpose. Every day, they're used in hundreds of different ways. And now, everyone involved faces a choice. They can continue to work like this, at an inconvenient height, incurring unnecessary costs, and running the inevitable risks of personal injury and damage to stock. Or they can bring things down to earth and make life easier and safer for everyone by doing it on the ground. So let's see what this quiet revolution is all about. Containerlift will move containers anywhere in the UK and Northern Europe quickly and without any fuss. From a central traffic office and bases at strategic points, we operate 24 hours a day, helping our customers to do hundreds of different jobs.
Yes, we could do that. When were you looking for?
Good afternoon, Containerlift. Yes, certainly. Who's calling, please?
Nothing is too much trouble. And don't just take our word for it. In the next few minutes, we'd like you to meet some of the many customers we serve and see what they feel about the service we offer. Let's start here, at the regional office of a company which supplies electrical products. The container we've just delivered is one of many which have helped this firm to win major contracts from customers who might otherwise have gone elsewhere.
Yeah, basically, we had a request from a major communications company to deliver a large package of mixed equipment to over 60 sites across the UK and Europe. The major problem with the project was that the customer had no site storage at any of his locations. So whilst delivering the goods, we also had to provide a means of storage on site. It was then that we looked at different means of transporting the containers, and Containerlift solution became patently obvious as the best way. The ease of using Containerlift was that they could also lift the container while it was fully loaded. So we could then load the container onto the vehicle and deliver and unload the container to site with one company.
Here we are moving two 20-foot containers locked together. They can be separated in seconds and delivered to the same or to different addresses. Containerlift vehicles do the work of a crane and a truck. We can transfer containers from one vehicle to another without any additional equipment. We can handle 20, 40 or 45-foot containers anywhere and place them wherever you wish. They can be double stacked. We can supply them on wheels, so they can be moved around or positioned in tight spaces. For rapid transfers in depots, we can use top lifting gear. When it's time to move on, the latest satellite communications help us to respond quickly to our customers' needs, wherever they may be. Customers like Sea Containers, who own the flat rack being used here.
I see a very, very much ongoing future for Containerlift. I think it's almost revolutionised heavy lifting, especially with containers, and it gives versatility to customers to be able to load and unload containers at their leisure, and it's cut down very much on manpower, provides a much more cost-effective way of managing container loading and unloading and logistics. would be very expensive without container lift, simply because we need a separate crane and a separate vehicle, and the combination of trying to tie those two things up together is often uneconomic. Often there wouldn't be enough room to put it down, and so there's no doubt that container lift is a positive advantage. We found Container Lift an excellent service. They're able to respond rapidly to our needs, and our needs are related by our customers' needs, which are very, very much at the drop of a hat. And they're able to meet those needs efficiently and swiftly at a cost-effective price.
Meeting customers' needs. That's what it's all about. And Containerlift's customers have many different requirements. The next call this driver makes could be to provide a supermarket with extra storage for frozen goods. Units like this can be delivered quickly by one vehicle. Or perhaps it will be packing an awkward cargo in the quickest and safest way. Or delivering supplies to a construction site. Every job is different. From here, they ship aid to the Third World. Now it's easy, but until recently, loading goods was quite a problem.
The container would be pulled on a trailer. So you've got a trailer 4 foot up in the air. So you've got to lift everything up 4 foot before you even start. Most of it was put in by hand. We could use a forklift, but that wasn't really much help. It was really hard work. We find it much more easier now that Container Lift come and drop it on the floor, and we can drive straight in with our forklift. Of course, when a container was brought on a trailer, we had 3 hours in which to load it, and then it had to go. Now we have the containers put on the floor. They're here as long as we want them to be, and then they're picked up and taken away.
So here too, Container Lift have solved some expensive problems and made life easier and safer for everyone. Goods arriving on the site can now be packed directly into a container, reducing demand for the limited storage available. There's no storage problem here at one of Europe's most successful removal companies. But here too, Container Lift has an important role to play.
This is Pickford's main international centre, and we use this centre for the consolidation of all the traffic that Pickford's exporting around the world. It's a fairly seasonal business, so you have quite a summer peak. We obviously have to be able to handle that peak, and one of the ways we do that is by minimising the amount of labour we require, and one of the systems that enables us to do that is a container lift system. The container lift allows us to put containers onto the floor and thus minimise the amount of labour and effort that we require in order to get traffic into the containers. In terms of health and safety, it's a major benefit to us because it means the containers are not on trailers. It reduces the handling, especially with heavy or difficult items, and that increases the chances of avoiding accidents. So it's a major benefit to us in terms of health and safety. The system is going to have increasing benefits in the year as health and safety legislation becomes more stringent. You cannot afford to have accidents pertaining to people falling out of containers. If you don't have to lift a very heavy item 50 inches into the air, then clearly it's a benefit not only for your operative staff, but it's also a benefit for the items that you're handling as well.
And with Container Lift, you can move almost anything, anywhere. This empty container is going to a customer in Wales, where it will be used for yet another product.
The cargo shipped from here is heavy-duty corrugated fibreboard. That is a very heavy version of corrugated fibreboard packaging. For a product like ours, where each item is very large and difficult to palletise, it's enormously helpful to have the container on the floor, where we can push bundles of the product into the container conveniently and easily. It's an enormous advantage to us because it means that we are able to load containers when it's convenient for us, and that we don't incur charges as lorries stand and wait if we're not able to load at exactly the time we expected.
When a load is ready for shipment, Containerlift will deliver an empty replacement container, and without any cranes or additional vehicles, remove any which are full and ready to go. Next stop will be the docks, where the driver will ensure the container is correctly placed for the next part of its journey. Just a few hours ago, this load was being packed. Now it's on its way, and the customer has only had to deal with one point of contact. We also use trains. Sending goods by rail for part of a long journey can help to minimize costs and ensure environmental issues are not ignored. We can deliver to or collect from any rail depot. We don't need cranes or other outside help, so we can take your container wherever you wish. We delivered this container here, helping a company to serve as a contract it might otherwise have found quite difficult to do.
Speeddeck Building Systems manufacture a high-quality metal roofing system from either aluminium or steel. We don't have to hire in cranes, etc. to move the container and machine around. We just call Containerlift in. Within 10-15 minutes they pick the machine up and they're on the way to the site. And once we get to site, they set it down exactly where we want it with no hassles. They're a very good company to work with. They're very reliable. They give you a good, friendly service. We enjoy our relationship with them, and hopefully it will continue for some time.
And that's why Containerlift continues to prosper. Our customers like the service we provide. Every day, all over Britain and in Northern Europe, we move a wide range of different goods. We can move cars in several different ways. Loading is quick and easy with minimal handling. Loading ramps are redundant now. The arrival of a Containerlift vehicle at a dealer's showroom usually arouses a lot of interest. Unloading is also quick and simple. Wherever we go and whatever we move, people are always interested in learning about the quiet revolution which is taking place. They soon appreciate why it's safer, easier, and more cost-effective to let Containerlift move things which have been packed while they're on the ground. With us, familiar problems have disappeared. Until now, products made in different areas often had to be moved to loading bays before they could be dispatched. That meant more handling and more time, all increasing costs and the risk of damage. Now, there's no need for loading bays. Containers can be brought straight to the goods. Items no longer have to be consolidated at one particular point. They can be picked and packed straight into a container and moved when and where you wish. So now you know what the quiet revolution is all about. It's helping discerning businesses to cut costs and improve efficiency and safety. You have heard a few of the many customers we serve. Perhaps you will be our next call.